Hello and welcome to Ladies and Gentlemen. Let me tell you something straight. No one is coming. No one's knocking on your door with a golden opportunity. No one's going to hand you the life you've been dreaming about while you sit back waiting for the right time. It's now. You owe it to you. In 2025, you don't get to blame the world, your past, your parents, your boss, or your circumstances. You don't get to point fingers. It's on you. Your growth, your evolution, your peace. It all starts and ends with you. We live in a world where it's easy to scroll and compare. Easy to envy someone else's highlight reel and forget that the real work, the real transformation is happening behind the scenes, in silence, in discipline. In those moments when nobody's watching but you still choose to show up. That's where power is built. Not in applause, not in likes, not in validation, but in your private decisions, in the promises you keep to yourself. You have to wake up every day and decide who you're going to be, not based on how you feel, but based on what you said you would do. Feelings lie, feelings fade, but purpose, that stays. And if you're serious about becoming everything you're meant to be, then you've got to take full ownership of that mission. That means no more excuses, no more waiting for the right mood, the perfect moment, or someone else to believe in you first. You have to believe in you. Fully, loudly, every day. This is the year you stop outsourcing your power. You don't need permission to start. You don't need approval to rise. You don't need a green light when the fire inside you is already burning. But that's just because it hasn't been fully realized yet. Your growth is your job. Your happiness is your job. Your healing is your job. And yes, your success. That's your job too. Some of us are waiting for a version of ourselves to show up that we haven't even started building. We're hoping for clarity, for confidence, for consistency, but those things don't arrive before action. They show up because of it. You don't magically become the best version of yourself. You create that version one choice at a time. One step, 1 hour, one decision at a time. So this year, stop negotiating with yourself. You're either in or you're not. You're either growing or you're standing still. And standing still in 2025, that's just moving backwards in disguise. You've got to decide right now that you're worth the effort, that you're worth the fight, that you're worth the uncomfortable, unglamorous, undeniable grind it takes to become everything you say you want. You owe it to you. Let's talk about comfort for a second, because too many people are stuck in it, calling it a peace. But there's a difference. Real peace is earned, it's fought for, it comes from alignment with who you're becoming. Comfort, on the other hand, can become a silent trap. It feels good, but it's not always good for you. Some of us have gotten too cozy in a life that's too small for us. We're playing it safe, playing it quiet, staying in the middle when we were built to stand tall. But hear me, comfort zones don't keep you safe. They keep you stagnant. They're a silent agreement you've made with fear. You might not have signed a contract with your hand, but you've signed it with your patterns. Every time you say, I'll start tomorrow, or this is good enough, you're renewing that contract. And the price? Your potential. This is 2025. We're not sitting in the waiting room of life anymore. We're not folding every time something feels hard. We're not shrinking just to make others comfortable. If you want to grow, if you want to evolve, you've got to break that contract. Rip it up. Burn it. The truth is, nothing changes until you do. Growth will not meet you in your comfort zone. It lives in discomfort, in the reps you don't want to do, in the tough conversations you'd rather avoid, in the risks that make your stomach flip. You think you're waiting for the right moment, but really that moment is waiting on you to get uncomfortable enough to meet it. The people you admire, they didn't get where they are by doing what was easy. They got there by doing what most people won't. They chose courage over convenience. That's the difference. You can't live a legendary life doing regular things. You can't expect transformation while clinging to your current version. You have to be willing to let go of who you were to make space for who you're becoming. And don't expect it to feel good all the time. Growth hurts. That's why so few people commit to it. But you've got to want the result more than you want to feel good in the moment. That's what separates those who rise from those who repeat. You either break through or you break down. That choice is yours every single day. So ask yourself, what has comfort cost you so far? Opportunities you passed up? Dreams you shelved? Potential you've never even tapped into? The answer is probably more than you want to admit. But here's the beauty. You can change that story, starting today. You can disrupt the default, flip the script, and step into something so much bigger than what you've been settling for. You owe it to you. You let me tell you something that took me a long time to learn. Not everything deserves your energy. Not every opinion deserves a response. Not every invitation deserves your presence. You've only got so much power in a day, so much mental fuel, so much emotional space. And if you don't protect it, the world will drain it without asking. One of the most powerful things you can do in 2025 is protect your peace, not as a luxury, not as an escape, but as a strategy, a necessity, a way of life. Some of us are tired not because we're doing too much, but because we're plugged into too many things that don't matter. Arguing with people who don't hear us, chasing approval from people who don't even like themselves, scrolling through highlight reels that make us question our worth. Let me tell you, your peace is not negotiable. Not this year, not anymore. You've got to start treating your mind like sacred ground. That means watching who you let walk through it. That means protecting your time like it's treasure. Because it is. There's nothing soft about boundaries. Boundaries are bold. They say, I respect myself enough to choose what I engage with. That's not weakness. That's wisdom. In a world that profits off your distraction, focus is a superpower. But you don't get focus without peace. Ian. And peace doesn't come from the outside. It comes from being aligned on the inside. From knowing who you are, what you value, and what you're no longer willing to tolerate. Peace is knowing that just because something is loud doesn't mean it's important. Just because someone is close doesn't mean they belong in your inner circle. Some people are meant for your journey, and some were just passing through. Learn the difference. You've got goals this year. You've got visions you're building. That means you've got to protect your mental space like it's your creative engine. Because it is. You can't build an empire with your energy scattered in 100 directions. You've got to be intentional, selective, strategic. You've got to say no to good things so you can say yes to the right things. And listen, protecting your peace doesn't mean you isolate. It doesn't mean you shut down. It means you elevate. It means you rise above the noise. It means you become so grounded in your purpose that nothing can pull you out of alignment. Not drama, not doubt, not distraction. This year, let the world wonder why you're unavailable. Let them question your silence. You don't owe them an explanation. You owe it to you to stay focused, stay calm, and stay locked in on what actually matters. Because when your peace is intact, your power multiplies. And that's when everything starts to shift. You owe it to you. Too many people are drifting through life with no direction, no intention, just waking up and reacting to whatever the day throws at them. And then they wonder why they feel stuck, why they feel unfulfilled, why it feels like they're going in circles. Let me tell you why. Because they're not designing their life. They're just surviving it. But that's not what we're doing in 2025 this year. You're the architect, you're the builder, and you're the project. If you want something different, you've got to move different. You can't just hope your life turns out the way you want. Hope is not a strategy. You need vision, you need clarity, you need a plan. Because if you don't take the time to decide what you want, you'll end up living in someone else's design, someone else's timeline, someone else's timeline, someone else's idea of success. And before you know it, you're stuck in a life that doesn't even feel like yours. Designing your life means taking control of your time, your energy, your environment. It means looking at the people around you and asking, are they pushing me forward or pulling me back? It means looking at your habits and asking, are they building the life I want or breaking it down little by little? Every day is a brick. And what you do with that brick is your choice. Stack it with intention or waste it with distraction. Either way, you're building something. Make sure it's something you actually want to live in. And don't fall into the trap of thinking vision is enough. Writing it down, making a board, saying affirmations, those are tools, not the transformation. Real change happens when your actions match your intentions. When you start living like the person you're trying to become. And that doesn't happen by accident. That happens when you start showing up every single day with purpose. You've got to ask yourself, well, what kind of life am I creating with the choices I'm making right now? Not 5 years from now. Not when everything feels perfect. Right now. Because the future you're hoping for is being shaped by the decisions you make today. And if those decisions are being made without intention, without alignment, mean you're not building. You're drifting. Don't let this year be a repeat of the last one. Don't let your vision die in a notebook or on a screensaver. Bring it to life with action, with discipline, with clarity. And if something doesn't fit the life you're building, if it doesn't feed your growth, your peace, your purpose, then it doesn't belong. Period. You are not here to live on autopilot. You're here to lead your life with purpose, not passively exist in it. This is your design season. No more drifting. You owe it to you, owe it to you. Let's get something straight. Motivation is unreliable. It's emotional. It shows up when it wants to, and it disappears just as fast. That's why you can't build your life around how motivated you feel. If you're waiting for motivation to move, you'll stay stuck. You'll never be consistent because you're letting your feelings drive the car. And feelings? They're passengers, not drivers. What gets you there, what keeps you in motion when everything in you wants to stop, is discipline. Discipline is the bridge between who you are and who you're becoming. It doesn't care how tired you are, how uninspired you feel, or how heavy the resistance is. It just asks, but did you do what you said you'd do? Because that's what it comes down to. That's what builds real confidence. Not hype, not temporary excitement, but showing up again and again. On the days when it's easy, and especially on the days when it's not. Everybody wants the result. Everybody wants the glow up, the level up, the win, but not everybody wants the work. Not everybody wants the repetition, the early mornings, the late nights, the sacrifices no one claps for. But that's where the power is. That's where the shift happens. That's where you separate yourself, not by doing something once, but by doing it consistently without needing to be in the mood. The people who go the furthest aren't the ones who are the most gifted. They're the ones who've built systems that work even when they don't feel like working. They don't rely on a spark. They rely on structure. They don't hope for discipline. They build it. They treat their goals like appointments that can't be missed. And when you do that enough times, something amazing starts to happen. You begin to trust yourself. You start to believe in your own word. Because now it means something. Discipline is the ultimate form of self-respect. It says, I'm going to follow through, not because it's easy, not because someone's watching, but because I said I would. That kind of follow-through changes everything. It reprograms your mindset. It changes how you show up in the world. You start operating from a place of alignment, not adrenaline. That's how momentum is built. That's how purpose is fulfilled. This year, stop asking yourself, do I feel like it? That question is a trap. Replace it with, but what needs to be done? Then do it. No debate. No delay. Build the muscle of doing what's necessary regardless of what's convenient. That's how you move from potential to power. That's how you unlock results that most people only dream about. Because when motivation fades, and it will fade, discipline is what keeps you standing. That's the difference between talking about it and living it. Between trying and transforming. You owe it to you, you are the asset. Read that again, let it hit. Because too many people are out here investing in everything but themselves. New clothes, new phones, new distractions, but they're starving their own growth. You'll pour into a job that doesn't value you, a relationship that doesn't grow you, a lifestyle that doesn't serve you. But when it comes to you, your health, your peace, your purpose, you're quiet. You hesitate. You play small. That stops now. In 2025, the most valuable thing you can invest in is you, your mind, your body, your spirit, your skill set, your circle. Everything starts with that foundation. Because when you level up internally, everything around you starts to shift. You start making different choices. You start commanding different rooms. You stop begging for opportunities and start attracting them. And let's be real, it's not selfish to choose you. It's smart. Because if you fall apart, what happens to everything you're responsible for? Who leads when the leader is drained? Who builds when the builder is burnt out? You've got to protect the source. You've got to prioritize the engine. That means prioritizing rest without guilt. That means feeding your mind with things that elevate you, not just entertain you. That means surrounding yourself with people who hold you to a higher standard, not ones who enable your excuses. This is not about perfection. It's about priority. When you recognize that you are the one carrying the vision, you are the one building the dream, then you treat yourself accordingly. You don't wait until you're broken to heal. You don't wait until you're lost to get clear. You don't wait for a crisis to start caring for the only life you've got. Start checking in with yourself like you do for others. Start showing up for yourself with the same loyalty you give away for free. Crap. Some of you are so busy proving your worth to people who don't even value themselves, and you're forgetting that your value was never up for debate. Your job is to own it, walk in it, build it, invest in it, build habits that serve your future, not just your feelings. Learn something new. Stretch your thinking. Get uncomfortable. That's where your growth lives. Put your money, your time, your energy into things that move you forward. Not out of fear, not out of pressure, but out of purpose. Because no one's coming to remind you. No one's coming to push you. That job belongs to you. So make it a point this year to stop putting yourself last. Stop being available to everything but your own progress. Because at the end of the day, when everything else falls away, the job, the crowd, the noise, you're all you got. And that's not a weakness. That's a superpower. You owe it to you. Everything I've said tonight comes down to this. You are responsible for the life you create, not your circumstances, not your past, not your doubts. You, in 2025, we're not waiting on motivation, permission, or a miracle. We're done shrinking, done blaming, done playing small. This is the year you rise with intention, move with purpose, and protect your energy like it's gold, because you've got one shot at this version of life. One chance to turn the vision in your mind into something real. And that's not going to happen by accident. It happens when you take full ownership, when you grow through discomfort, when you show up with discipline, when you design your future and invest in yourself like everything depends on it. Because it does. This isn't about hype. It's about honoring the greatness already inside you. Not someday, not when things are easier. Now, right here, right now with what you've got and where you are. So stand on it, walk in it, build it. Not for applause, not for validation, but because your future is watching you and it's time to show up. You owe it to you.